So I'm gonna make this video kind of quick because I gotta head on out, and I've got to get a break and get some air. Been working on this freaking fish tank for a couple hours, and I need a break. So anyway, let me give over what happened on Friday. First of all, for those who's in the Signals group, as you know, the market was extremely choppy. Here's the reason why. As many of you who traded in the market, you probably know, the market was extremely choppy. And last week, on last week's video, if you go back to my Sunday's video I did last week, you'll see that I had told people in advance that this week, meaning last week, that there was going to be a Fed announcement, and they had the Jackson Hole Symposium, okay, the Jackson Hole Symposium. And what that was actually about was about whether the Feds were going to be considering raising interest rates in the future, even though there is no official Fed interest rate announcement. And this is very, very important, especially for the news event that's coming up this week, okay? Hey, what's up with you guys? What's going on? Welcome, welcome, welcome. So the deal is that some of you guys, the reason why, and this is a very big lesson that you're going to have to learn, and it's not going to feel good, you're not going to like what I have to say, but the truth of the matter is, sometimes when the market and you lose some trades, it had really nothing to do with you at all. Okay, it really didn't. So I want you guys to take heart in why I'm giving these news announcements, so that when certain things happen on certain days, you already know in advance exactly what took place, and therefore you're not spending years of your life, hours upon hours, spinning your wheels trying to revamp your strategy, thinking you did something wrong, and sometimes it had nothing to do with you at all. Okay, last week was a perfect example. So as I'm going through this week's news events, make sure you're paying attention. Now, we'll say for the Signals group, and this is why my students always tell you have maybe 2 or 3 good strategies. Okay, so normally we murder the markets when it comes to the signals, but we were 5 and 8 because the market was so choppy last week, which is understandable. But the scalping group did over 22,400 pips trading the indices. So what's great about trading with us is that if one side don't do well, which normally we always do, but the markets, again, I warned you guys last week in last week's video for those who watched it, if the markets don't do good on one side, it did magically well on the other side, okay? So they did 22,400 pips, and that would have been done in a live setting. So if you're part of the Signals group, congrats to you. The D15 strategy, Kelvin said the D15 strategy is one of his best. There you go. And by the way, that's the D15, the D1, and the D30 strategy is something my son presented to the group and taught the group. So this is why it's important for you to learn these skills, pass this knowledge on to your children, because they can take it even further than you. So let me kind of go over what's going to happen this week in my personal opinion. I warned you guys last week what was going on in advance. And so this week, here's what's going on. Let me kind of give you a synopsis of what actually took place. So even though there was no official Fed announcement, like I was mentioning earlier, what actually happened was every little bit of news that's going to be coming out of the US is going to have some sensitivity to it, okay? It's going to have a little zest to it, more than normal. Why? Because the entire world is constantly watching to find out what the Feds are going to do with tampering with the dollar, okay? Since the dollar is a currency that can be spent anywhere in the world almost, therefore anything that happens to it, all the countries in the world are going to be paying attention. So when they had the Jackson Symposium last week, when Fed Chairman Powell came out on last Friday talking about, you know, his synopsis of what he thought, he hinted towards the continuing to raise interest rates in order to fight inflation. Now, with this simple information, you can go and check your charts on all of these different pairs that suddenly went crazy. Because some of you guys were in trades and you wonder, why did they suddenly go crazy? This is why I'm telling you guys, stop listening to these people who tell you, oh man, you don't need no fundamentals, you don't need to know nothing about no news, and then their accounts got blown up. So you weren't the only one, okay? The point is that when there was this announcement came out, it affected all the currencies across the board. Suddenly the market started vibrating and going crazy and shooting up. The dollar shot up like crazy because people started investing millions of dollars into investing into the dollar bill, because It's the Fed Chairman Powell is basically saying we're going to continue to raise interest rates on the dollar. So that means if you own dollars as an investment, you just made more money because in the future they're going to be raising interest rates. So it's kind of like guaranteed profit. That is the reason why interest rate announcements are so important that you stay away from it, because it depends on what they say. And if they say they're going to raise interest rates on that currency will always shoot up to the moon because it's like guaranteed future profits. And if, in other words, if I bought the dollar bill and it's worth $1, 98 cents today, but you're telling me in the future, in about 2 or 3 months, when you make the official announcement, you're going to raise up interest rate on it. Okay, if I buy it today, I just automatically make profit in the future. Get what I'm saying? So that's what the announcement did. Now, for you personally, it screws you over. I'm not going to lie. On a personal level, this is going to screw a lot of people over. Okay, a lot of people. For an example, I was sharing with my wife because I used to own a lot of real estate and rental properties. And the deal is that when it happens is some of you guys are wondering why your rents constantly are going up through the moon. Okay, let me help you understand. See, when they talk about inflation, what pisses me off about this whole freaking thing is because they talk about fighting inflation. They knew this was going to be a problem. They kept on lying, saying, oh, it's just transitory. It's not that big of a deal. Kicking the can down the road. Now the building's on fire. And now they're saying, oh, we're going to have to use extra water hose called interest rates to help bring the fire and put it out. No, the only thing that's going to do is wipe out the middle class and the hardworking people who are trying to make ends meet, and the lower class who are already struggling from the beginning. Are you understanding what I'm saying? You say, well, how is that possible? Or here's how it is. What happens is with those who are on the upper class or the upper echelon, anytime they have an increase in their cost base, they have customer bases that they raise their costs to. So in other words, if I'm a landlord and you just raised, like for an example, I just moved to this new location, we was running the sprinkler systems, didn't know, and all of us freaking sudden they came back with a water bill saying, hey, your sprinkler system used 76,000 gallons of water to water your property. Well, I just got a $675 water bill. Okay, now, if I was like some of the other people, I wouldn't even be tripping off the $675 water bill. You know why? I have my tenants. I would just send out a notice. Hey, I need to raise rents because of inflation. You see how I just slipped that in? Oh, I just have inflation. Well, what actually inflated? Oh, my water bill went up. See, I'm not going to tell you that, but that's how it works. So my water bill went up personally, but am I going to pay it? No, I pass the cost on to the client base, the customers. So every time your rent keeps getting raised up, it's because the feds keep raising interest rates to your landlords and business owners and grocery stores and gas stations and all these places. And every time they raise the interest rates up on them, they come back and raise it on you. And you end up paying. Therefore, the people who owns the stuff, they don't have an increase. It's only the middle class and the lower class who don't know how this game is played. And I hope this is making sense. This is why it's important for you to have financial skill sets and understand how money flows. Because some of you guys, you're constantly complaining, why is my rent going up? Why is my rent going up? I'm explaining to you why your rent is going up in connection to what's going on with the Fed announcements. See, because especially in the Black community, we don't talk like this. Nobody shares. Nobody cares. We all just hustle. But you hustling and don't even know what's going on. And so this is how the dots are connected. This is one of the, and I'll say this and I'm gonna wrap this video because I want to go get lunch with my wife, but I'm gonna say this quickly. Here's the reason why it is so hard for the middle class and the lower class to get up on their feet, because they don't have anybody who's really telling them how the dots are connected. Now, the wealthy people know all of this because they're taking advantage of you. You get what I'm saying? And it's simply a simple case of knowledge. And then the problem is, and I'm really experiencing this, the problem is with the middle class and other people out there, the problem is when I'm out there trying to teach them and tell them these things, instead of them listening so that they can take advantage of the knowledge that they don't know and stop getting ripped off, they'd rather call you a scammer, they'd rather call you this and that. And this is why the rich people don't bother with the lower class. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Unless you pay them for a seminar. But just to do stuff free, they don't do it because they're just like, why would I take on the headache of trying to help the lower class and the middle class when all they're going to do is talk what they think they know? And if you're going to keep talking about what you think you know, you will never be able to learn what you don't know. And it's so funny that in the lower class and middle class, they're always trying to give an opinion. But when you sit in a boardroom with wealthy people, they're always asking questions. Do you get what I'm saying? So the truth of the matter is, it's a separation between knowledge. And the problem is, you're being taken advantage of by your landlords, your grocery stores, your gas stations. Everybody else is taking advantage of you because you don't know what's going on. And I'm trying to tell you, every time the Fed opens up those interest rates, whoever you're paying money to, utility bills, everything, they're simply passing that cost over to you. Their cost base never change, yours do, for them. I was telling my wife when I used to own a lot of real estate and rental properties, even when I knew this was going on, I was one of those landlords who I would hardly ever raise my rates. I would hardly ever raise my rents. Here's the reason why, because I was smarter than some of the average people. If you keep raising your rents every time the Feds raise the interest rates, those people are going to keep moving out year after year after year. You're going to have to hire a crew to come and clean up the apartments, replace the carpets, or clean the tile, repaint the cabinets, whatever, just the upkeep to get the apartment ready for the next tenant to come in. Meanwhile, while this is going on, you don't have income coming in on this place. Are you hearing what I'm saying? You're losing income, right? Okay, now you're losing income, plus you still got to pay these contractors to come in and get the property ready. So you just lost 2, 3, 4 months of rent. When if you would have stopped being so freaking greedy, you could have left it where it was, and people, even though around them, they would have saw all these rental rates going up and realized, but you're not going to raise my rates? Well, man, you know what? I may not have thought that your apartment was, the Taj Mahal, but doggone it, I'm gonna stay right here, seeing that you're kind enough not to raise your rents. And that's how I was able to sustain and keep my tenants in place for years, when most apartment buildings, they were constantly having people move in and out. Why? Because they kept raising their rents. Why? Why was they raising their rates? Because the Feds was raising interest rates, and therefore they was passing their cost over to others. So do you see how this cycle of sickness goes on? And yet they keep making you think that every time they raise interest rates, it's going to be benefiting you. It is not going to benefit you. You tell me the last time where there was a lower cost and then your landlord sent you a letter saying, hey, we're going to lower your rent. Has that ever happened in your lifetime where the landlord lowers your rent? Never. Never. When are you going to grab hold of this knowledge? Are you understanding what I'm saying? Are you understanding what I'm saying? In addition to that, here's what's important for news events, and I'm going to close on this. Please make sure you listen to the final on Friday, because Friday is a big one. It's going to be a big one. I'm telling you now, Friday is going to be a big one. If you don't listen to me, like y'all didn't listen to me, some of y'all, you didn't listen to me last week. And how do I know? Because I have a large group, but I see comments sometimes from students who say, what just happened in the market? Why did the market? I was like, you're one of my students. I know you darn sure should not be the one saying that, because I told you already a week in advance what was coming. So unless you're not paying attention, then I have a problem with you being a hard-headed, stubborn student, because your teacher told you a week in advance to be prepared. So you, of all the traders around the globe, you should not be the one surprised. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Okay, so I'm warning you again in advance. Here we go. On Tuesday, you have inflation rate numbers coming out for the euro, and that's also going to be issue for the euro and I believe the GBP. On the CAD is going to have growth rate announcements on Wednesday. On Thursday is a lot of, now when you talk about the euro, they're talking about not just the EUR, but you're talking about the EUR and the GBP. They call it the Eurozone, okay, the whole zone. So be careful when you see that news events and you see the euro, it could be the whole Eurozone. That's why they make multiple announcements. You'd be like, why are they repeating the same announcement over and over and over again? It depends on the whole zone. Okay, you get it? All right. So next Thursday, you have manufacturing numbers, which is going to be important for the Eurozone. Okay, Euro GBP may have some big movement. On Thursday, you also have, now this is the US. Now this is important, critically important, these next two. Very, very important. Very, very, very important. I keep telling you guys, any little thing that comes out on the US is hyperactive now because it's sending clues to what the feds may have to do. And this is not just for if you trade Forex. This has to do with your 401ks and IRAs, which is also tied to the stock market. So the stock market, the bond market, the currency market, all of them are gold. Everybody is hyperactive on news events that's coming out anytime on the US. Why? Because it encourages the Feds to either raise interest rates or to cool them off and leave it alone, which they've already kind of hinted towards the fact they're probably going to continue to raise interest rates. Now, this is even more important because for home buyers, the home buyer market, if they continue to keep raising interest rates, is going to crash the real estate market. Okay? That means that the landlords, in order to keep pace with their losses, is going to continue to keep raising your rent. You hear what I'm saying? See, some people will be like, man, I don't care about no interest rate news. I don't care about all that new stuff until their landlord send them a letter saying, hey, we're raising up your rent by $200 or $300. What the hell, man? What the hell? Okay, well, listen, Uncle P tried to warn you. I tried to keep you ahead of the game so you can make preparations accordingly. You the one who don't want to listen. So I'm telling you now, every announcement is hyperactive because it determines whether the Feds are going to raise interest rates. And if they do raise interest rates, that means the cost is going to be passed over to who? Don't forget this. You at your grocery stores, your gas stations, your clothing, everything about your daily life, your credit cards, everything is getting raised because they always pass the cost over to you. So if anybody want to care about interest rates and what the Feds are going to do, it should not be the corporations, it's you. Because the corporations, like for an example, they raise some interest rates too much, guess what happens? Job loss. A lot of these companies, they're already laying people off. See, they just get rid of the people to keep their profits exactly the same. Landlords raise rents, jobs lay off people. And then they double the work on the people who have to stay. Y'all better get this, man. See, I'm telling you, this is not talked about in the regular community. But this is what happens. So you wonder why there's so many job losses. That's because these companies are trying to hang on to the profits. They're not going to lose money. You're going to lose your job. Somehow, some way, the middle class and the lower class will always take the hit for any of this foolishness. Now, let me give you these last two. So the jobless claim numbers are going to be coming out on Thursday. Now, that's going to hint to the Feds about how strong the market is to support another interest rate hike. Okay? But if they do, again, raise the interest rates, it's going to further keep crashing the real estate market, which is going to be one of the leading indicators to let you know all hell is breaking loose, which it already is, but they keep lying, saying something different. And then on Friday is the big kahuna, which is NFP. Now, in the past, if you ever seen some of my videos, I told you guys that NFP, I really never really tripped off of it. You know, it goes blip for about an hour or two, shoots real crazy, and then it settles down, and the dust is settled, and you don't have any other problems. I've told you guys that in the past. However, this Friday is going to be completely different. I'm telling you and I'm warning you, when these job numbers are coming out, it's better if you're not wise and you don't have capital to really play with. I would really just chill on going towards the end of the week. And I'm going to tell you, here's the deal. The closer to the end of the week, the slower the market gets. And I sent a message to everybody in all of my groups, whether they was in the Signals group, the chat groups, the Simplicity group. I sent a message to everybody. I said, when the market is slowing down, so that means it's waiting for an announcement. I gave that announcement to my group within 12 to 24 hours in advance because I started noticing the market slowing down. So if you ever see the market starting to go into a freeze frame, do not force yourself into a trade because it means that there is something that's going to be announced and it's going to be so big that the entire market is just sitting in a consolidation pattern waiting for the announcement to come forth. Then you'll see the fireworks shooting around. Okay, and I was in a really good trade setup, wonderful trade setup, and then it shot right on through. So it happens to the best of us. You get what I'm saying? It happens. Because when the news announcement comes out, it supersedes and overrides price action. Don't nobody care about price action when that news event comes out. It shoots right past it. So if you don't have the capital to play, it's better that you stay away. I'll repeat that. If you don't have the capital to play, it's better that you simply stay away. Wait for the news announcement to be over, see what happens, wait for the dust to settle, and pretty much then go from there. Okay? So Friday is going to be fireworks, in my opinion, depending on what they say, because this time it's going to influence whether the Feds are really going to be getting even more support for their move to keep raising interest rates, or whether to chill out and let the market stay where it is. Everybody clear on what I'm saying? All right, amen. I hope this video was helpful. Again, last week in the signals group, the signals we did 5 and 8 because of the choppiness of the market. However, Ms. Jenny's scalping group came through with 22,400 pips because they were scalping the indices and they just chop. They chopped it. They went nuts on it. Okay, so either way it goes, we still came out very, very profitable in the signals group. So if you want to join our signals group, go right ahead. It's superezforex.com/signal-service. And the link is on our website as well to join the advanced membership group. Just go to our website, superezforex.com. However, I'm getting contacted, and let me say this in closing, I'm getting contacted by a lot of you guys who are reaching out, asking questions about trading. Hey, I'm new to this and this and that and this. Listen, we have several different trading systems available for you, but I got to be honest with you, do not be cheap. Okay, don't try to buy the cheapest one and you have no idea what the markets are doing. Okay, the simplicity system, hands down, is still one of the best systems we ever created. But why I'm encouraging that is not because, and it's not expensive to be honest with you, but the reason why I'm encouraging you to start there is because it comes with the weekly live classes. I teach 2 classes a week. Miss Jenny, who is a 6 to 7 figure earner in the business, she also teaches classes once a week, and it's free to you. You never pay for it. And we've been doing these classes every week for the last several years. Okay, so it's the only place, in my opinion, where you only purchase a trading system and the classes are free. You don't pay for them, and you get access to our Telegram groups and whatever else is with the bells and whistles. So if you were trying to decide which one to start with, do I start with the Sexy Analyst? Do I start with the Simplicity Scanner? Or do I just start with Simplicity? It depends. Okay, here's the point. If you're an advanced trader, you already know how to trade, you're good at it, then maybe start with the Sexy Analyst. Okay, if you're tired of trading, you just want some signals, okay, sign up for the signal service. But if you're a first timer and you really just want to get that knowledge, hands down, get the simplicity system so that at least you're learning the process, how to trade, how to use a trading system, how we look at the markets and stuff like that. And even if you can't attend the live classes, then we still have replay classes for you. So I record every class to make sure that if you can attend, you can watch the replays. But if you can attend, please do, because that's the one area where we actually do it through Zoom, and I take question and answer at the end, and normally I stay as long as possible to answer as many questions, break down charts. We even had a new student last week who started and said, hey, I'm so brand new, I don't even know how to place a trade. I said, welcome to the group. And we, in the middle of class, we stopped and we started step by step how simple it was. And she learned that you can place a trade in 30 seconds. But see, she didn't know. And if you go to these other expensive groups, they charge you 5, 6, 7,000. That's fine. But they won't take the time to just say, hey, let me take you by the hand and let me teach you. So I was very happy that she came to class and asked that question. A lot of people be like, man, I don't want to sound stupid. No, I want you to ask, because we all started somewhere. And so she said, yeah, I went through all the tutorials and this, and she said, I think I'm ready to go, but the only thing I'm missing, I never learned how to place a trade. I said, girl, let me show you how. And so I did a step-by-step explanation of it, and then I went right back and then just said, okay, now watch me do it in real time. And I said, how long did it take me? Oh, about 30 seconds to a minute. I said, that's exactly right. That's how simple it is to place a trade. Now you know. Are you understanding what I'm saying? So that's some of the stuff that we do live in class. We have advanced traders and we have beginners, and we take the time necessary to walk you, whether you're looking at an advanced strategy or whether you just want to have a simple, hey, how do you do this? And one more thing, I was really happy that we do class because I don't know everything. And I love the participation of the students. Let me say this. So one of the gentlemen, he would say, hey man, I got your system, I put it on my thing, but now I can't see my tabs at the bottom. I said, well, sir, that really doesn't have anything to do with our trading system. It has to do with your MT4. And I told him how to contact his broker and da-da-da-da-da. One of our faithful students, Miss Liz, which shout out to Miss Liz. Shout out to you, Miss Liz. So Miss Liz raised her hand and she said, hold on, wait. She said, click on this tab up here, click on view, click on this and that. And lo and behold, there it was. See, his problem was solved. It was so simple. But without a community, you don't get the support. And that's why most Forex traders, in my opinion, fail. You don't have a community supporting you. So even little simple things as that, guess what? You don't have nobody to talk to, and you're doing everything on your own. So if you're tired of all that, then join the Super Easy Forex family. If not, and you love my videos, but you want to go with somebody else, that's perfectly fine too. The only thing I ask is, hey, if you like my videos, please click the like and subscribe button. And I know that thousands will watch this later. Have a good afternoon. I'll see you, my students, on Tuesday. Bye.